interesting times. Today's stories. The Aid for Humanity continues in Canada, helping thousands in Winnipeg and reaching out to tornado victims in Ottawa. Vegas stronger, a year after the deadly mass shooting. Volunteer artists paint portraits of Las Vegas shooting victims. Plus, in Orlando, astronauts share their space mission stories. And the Sacramento Donut Festival sprinkles cheer over California's capital. Hello everyone, I'm Alan Basoyahe bringing you stories from around the globe. And this is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. The Aid for Humanity by the Iglesia Ni Cristo and the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation continues in Canada. In Winnipeg, Indigenous communities received help in a recent outreach mission there. Kathleen May Pangan reports.
Did you know that according to Statistics Canada, Manitoba has one of the highest poverty rates in Canada? The 2015-2016 Manitoba Annual Rate Report says in 2014, 232,480 economic families in the province were living in poverty. Manitoba also has the highest rate of Indigenous children living in the poverty in the country. According to Manitoba Annual Report, children in Manitoba experienced particularly high poverty rates. For example, in 2014, 1 in 3.5 children, or 85,110 children, were living in poverty in the province. Because of this, through the Aid of Humanity project of the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, over 3,000 care packages have been prepared to extend help to residents of Winnipeg, Canada. The Iglesia Ni Cristo and the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation are here right now at the Turtle Island Recreation Center, bringing aid to Indigenous people, refugees, and low-income families.
It's tremendous, right? They're not just walking away with a package of goods, right? You know, when you're struggling, being able to have that little package, you know, would make it last such a long time. And it's also what it does inside, right? Knowing that somebody cares for you enough to come together to give you this package, and it's just totally heartwarming.
I've never been in any other community that has more attempts to help out these people that are marginalized.
You can tell this has been going on for the past few hours. It's still going strong. Thousands of people are coming in and out, and they're being greeted so positively, and such a welcoming atmosphere. You know, the Church of Christ is just incredibly hospitable and kind, and I think that really resonates with people. They leave here feeling uplifted from the music and the joy that's radiating off people.
Reporting for Eagle News from Central Canada, I am Kathleen May Pangan, and I am one with 25.
Thanks, Kathleen. In Ottawa, victims of the recent tornado that devastated the region received help from Iglesia Ni Cristo and FYM Foundation volunteers as residents there try to get back on their feet. Sabir Mofti with the story.
On September 21st, 2018, 6 tornadoes hit the Ottawa-Gatineau area. Environment Canada confirms that one of the tornadoes was in fact an EF3 category, the strongest of the tornadoes formed in Kinburn, which traveled through Dunrobin and crossed the river into Gatineau. EF3 wind speeds are estimated to have reached up to 265 kilometers per hour. This has caused damage to dozens of homes and businesses, uprooting trees and injuring people. Hydro lines were ruined, leaving hundreds of thousands of residents without power for days.
I was here when this happened, and lots of people crying, lots of people with no insurance, you know, lost everything. Thank God that my mom was insured, so she didn't lose everything, but lost a lot still.
When we saw it coming, we saw the roof going in the tornado and get out, and I said, we're dying. That was the only thing in my head. That's it. That's the end of the world. We're dying.
Sabi ko, salamat Lord na okay lang kami at naligtas kami.
The hardest hit areas of the city are Dunrobin and Gatineau. In the Dunrobin community, more than 50 homes have been destroyed, and city officials have said more than half of them need to be rebuilt. Volunteers have come to help restore the community.
Who are here to help those who were affected with the recent tornado that happened within this area. We even have some of our organizers and helpers from the Toronto area that have actually traveled here to help in this Aid for Humanity spearheaded by the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ.
In Ottawa, the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, led by Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, along with the Felix Y. Manalo Foundation, its humanitarian arm, are here today for the Aid to Humanity outreach event, benefiting those affected by the tornadoes that happened here in September 21st, 2018, both in Ottawa and Gatineau.
I appreciate from the bottom of my heart, and I guess all the people will appreciate this foundation of helping out people, because like I said, I've seen people crying and lose everything with no insurance. So people like, or this organization that you guys take part of is very important.
We have to say that the city, the population were really, really good with us. They were really charitable. And we had the police, the fire department were all there, so we felt secure because they were there.
Maraming salamat kasi napi-feel nyo yung mga pangangailangan ng mga kapwa ninyong Pilipino.
Meanwhile, in Gatineau, cleanup is also underway. Civil engineers escort residents into their apartment buildings and residences to see what they can salvage from the ruins. Up to this day, affected residents are still picking up the pieces. Communities are still recovering from the destruction felt in Ottawa and Quebec. Reporting from the Aid to Humanity in Dunrobin and Gatineau, I'm Sabir Mufti, 1 with 25.
Thank you, Sabir. Coming up, Vegas Stronger, a year after the deadly mass shooting. Volunteer artists paint portraits of Las Vegas shooting victims. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return in a moment. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. A year after dozens of lives were lost due to more senseless gun violence, residents of Las Vegas remember the victims and help heal and strengthen those that were left behind. Anna Cui reports.
The 1st of October will never be the same for Las Vegas residents. Today, Clark County and Las Vegas Metro Police Department co-host a 1 October sunrise ceremony to remember the lives of the 58 people who lost their lives last year.
In the aftermath, we became Vegas strong. I recognize that not everyone felt they were stronger. After all, some gave everything. At the same time, this community came together as one.
There are two choices, to give up or lift others up. We chose the latter. This morning should also be a reminder of ourselves to strengthen our commitment to never let this happen again and always stay vigilant. Today, we're not just Vegas strong, we are Vegas stronger.
But we can't let this define us and let evil win. We must continue to fight. I refuse to let it take one more thing from me. It took my nephew's mom, my parents' daughter, my sister, and so many more who hurt by her loss. that we will fight to bring back the goodness that was here before this.
A truly emotional morning as lives lost were remembered, from the mass shooting during the Route 91 Harvest Festival, which remains to be the worst in modern U.S. history. As a sign of strength, there are those like Minda Smith who choose to uplift others.
Don't give up hope. Keep the light going. There's a lot of evil that comes with this, but there is a whole lot more light and love, so find it.
No one had dry eyes as they left this remembrance ceremony this morning, and as Commissioner Steven Sisolak said, the city is definitely Vegas stronger. Reporting for Eagle News from the Clark County Government Center, I'm Anna Cui, and I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Anna. In a related story, artists paint portraits of the 58 shooting victims in that deadly Las Vegas tragedy last year. Eagle News correspondent Lani Valdecantos takes us to the portrait exhibit in Clark County.
I'm here in the Clark County Building Rotunda area, or more as like the foyer, where a portrait exhibit is actually on display for those that have fallen on October 1st.
Clark County and the Vegas Strong Resiliency Center are hosting a memorial exhibit of portraits of the 58 victims. These portraits were painted by volunteer artists to have the goal to build a bridge of hope and healing through art. Once the exhibit is over, the portraits will be donated to the families. The outpour of love continues here as the message of Clark County's Commissioner Steve Sisolak includes how the community will never forget the lives lost on October 1st, but hopes this exhibit will be a tribute to those who perished and to support those whose lives are forever changed. Free resources and support are provided to anyone affected by this shooting, to include survivors, family members of victims, and anyone who witnessed the event. A part of today's events included a sunrise remembrance to recall those who have passed and bring honor to those who have brought the community together.
As the governor reminded us that the pain never really goes away, but we should all have the courage to seek peace and strength. From the Las Vegas Memorial Portrait Exhibit, I'm Lani Valdecantos, reporting live for Eagle News.
Thanks, Lani. When we come back, astronauts share their space mission stories in Orlando. Plus, the Sacramento Donut Festival sprinkles cheer over California's capital. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return shortly. This is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. I'm Alan Basoyahe. With the right amount of passion and persistence, these space enthusiasts made their way past the Earth's atmosphere. Eagle News correspondent Melissa Allen with more.
The AIAA Space Forum, an event hosted by the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, gave the public a rare opportunity to meet and interact with former NASA astronauts who worked during the Space Shuttle program. Astronaut Chris Ferguson, who piloted the Space Shuttle Atlantis and was assigned as commander of the final mission of the Space Shuttle program, recalled how he was inspired to become an astronaut.
And I think I was highly motivated by watching Neil Armstrong walk on the moon, which I think that happened when I was 6 or 7 years old. It must have stuck with me. And I do remember as a college freshman watching the very first Space Shuttle flight. And everybody gathered around the television to watch this thing called a Space Shuttle take off. And I don't know, maybe that was what cemented it for me.
Astronaut Tony Antonelli, who served as pilot on 2 Space Shuttle missions to the International Space Station, was only 4 years old when his passion for outer space began.
When I was young, we were still sending people to the moon. We flew the Apollo Soyuz and the U.S.'s first orbiting laboratory, Skylab. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I consider myself an explorer. I like to travel. I thought it was the perfect fit for me.
Ferguson and Antonelli offered some advice to those aspiring to pursue a career as an astronaut and talked about some key traits necessary to becoming one.
Yeah, be passionate, be persistent, be politely persistent. You know, if don't accept the answer no, you know, lying down. If you're destined to do it, you know, everybody gets told no the first time. You know, figure out what it takes to unlock the magical yes, and continue to go for whatever it is you desire to be.
The one is persistence, right? No one's perfect. Understanding that you're going to make mistakes and how you deal with those, right? So I don't get everything right. I get almost nothing right the first time, but I'm not the kind of guy that gives up, so I just keep trying. If it's something I want to figure out how to do, I just work hard at it until I figure it out. I think that's an important trait.
Astronauts Antonelli and Ferguson explained why they believe that space exploration in this day and age is still worth pursuing.
You know, as humans, we have this innate desire to understand things that we don't understand, whether they're on the bottom of the ocean or the bottom of the South Pole. We always want to go, and I think that is just our DNA speaking to us. It's not a question of if we should go; it's a question of how soon should we go. And you know, do I believe we were destined to become a multi-planet species? I'm not really sure, but well, I'll tell you, it sure would be nice to set up a colony on the moon. And I can think of a few people in, say, maybe 50 years that would like to go to the moon as a part of their bucket list vacation. So, you know, these kind of things are important to us as a species.
And I believe there is still so much that we as humans don't know. And I think the way to learn it is to go and see and look and figure it out, right? So I believe there's all kinds of stuff out there in the universe that we don't yet know, and so I want to send us there to learn them, with the idea that we'll bring that knowledge back and it'll benefit all of humanity.
NASA hopes to send humans to planet Mars by the 2030s. Perhaps someone here, or even some of you watching this, will help NASA make the next giant leap for mankind. Signing off from Orlando, I'm Melissa Allen, and always 1 with 25.
Thank you, Melissa. Unfortunately, not everyone has the right stuff to be an astronaut. My own application to NASA was denied because, according to them, they no longer send chimpanzees to space. Back on Earth, our correspondent MJ Ricardio delivers a report that really goes best with a cup of coffee. Here he is at the Sacramento Donut Festival.
Welcome to Sacramento Donut Festival 2018, celebrating all things donut, only here at California Automobile Museum. Sold out for its second consecutive year in California's capital, the Sacramento Donut Festival drew in lines of attendees more than an hour before the doors opened.
Well, this is our second year attending, and I think we're really, we love donuts, obviously, and it's a good chance to see kind of the artisan vendors in the area, and then, of course, to support the local community. So I think that's one of the main reasons, other than donuts, of course.
And what about you, John?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I'm mostly interested in discovering new donuts that I've never had before. So this is a good chance to try a lot of new things in one place.
Vendors showcased their creativity and set themselves apart from others. Totem Coffee Roasters describes what makes them donuts unique.
My name's Hillary. We're from Totem Coffee in Placerville. We have been doing donuts for about 2 years now, but we've been a coffee roaster for 3 years. So we're doing vegan, organic, as local as we can get as far as our fruits and our flavors go. And they're all vegan, and we make them in-house, and we're based out of Placerville.
While donuts were the main attraction of the festival, it also features local coffee roasters and donut-inspired ice cream flavors. For one vendor, his art has taken on a new meaning through donuts.
So last year, I started doing these donut paintings for the first ever Sacramento Donut Festival. And it was kind of a joke at first. I just was painting donuts to see what would happen. I was actually turned on to it because my mom sent me a link over Facebook for this event, which just started last year. I don't know if you knew that or not. So I came out with just kind of plain donuts, and I did really well. I brought 32 out and I sold 28. So it was kind of like, wow, there's something here. So this year I actually started making it more like owning the art more. So it's not so much of a joke as it is starting to build passion for it. So that's why this year there's like sprinkles, there's bacon, there's all kinds of like new details as opposed to just a plain donut. So it's been really fun. I've gotten a lot more out of it as an artist, just personally, than I ever thought I would have. So it's been really nice, like awesome.
Another highlight of the event was a donut competition. This year's winner and returning champion was Bad Bakers, which took first place with their new concept, the Mo Cheese gluten-free Mochi donut, topped with butter glaze, cheese, and sprinkled sugar. Dave, an organizer of the event, explains how the Donut Festival came to be what it is today.
This is our second year of selling out. We sold out last year and this year. It came about from an idea of the burger battle, the Sacramento Burger Battle, and our friend Rodney, and how lucky he is to talk about hamburgers all year long and eat hamburgers. And we were like, why can't we do that with donuts? And then we realized at the time there were no other donut festivals in all of the United States. So it took us a couple of years before we got on our feet and got it started, but there's still only a few. And ours is the only one that is locals only. Just shops in the Sacramento area, no national chains. There's a lot of mom and pop shops, pop-up places that only sell on the street. Shorty's has a donut truck, and we really want to spotlight Sacramento and how awesome it is. We take the profits and split it between the Sacramento Food Bank and the California Automobile Museum, because we just want to give something back to especially to people who, it seems fitting that on a day when everyone is gorging themselves on donuts and sweets, that we should give money back to some people who can't.
This is not just your typical donut event. It also helps Sacramento Food Bank. Reporting from Sacramento Donut Festival, my name is MJ Ricardio, and I am one with 25.
If anyone needs me, I'll be at the front of the line for those donut-inspired ice cream flavors. That is today's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Join us again next week for stories from our bureaus across the nation and around the globe. Visit our websites at Eaglenews.PH and EagleNewsLive.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I'm Alan Basuyahe. I'm one with 25.